Here in the Concord, North Carolina area, there's plenty to be had when it comes to racing. You got the Concord Speedway, a tricky little half-mile tri-oval that is certainly unique. You got the dirt track of Charlotte, one of the famed tracks at World of Outlaws, and a lot of the other big-time dirt track races kind of finish on it. You got the World Finals there every single year. But here tonight, we're at arguably the home of NASCAR, and that is the Charlotte Motor Speedway 1.5 mile quad oval here. This thing is fast. This thing is it's beautiful during the day, even nicer under the lights here, as it's going to be a good one here tonight. But more importantly, we are 17 races down this season, 3 races to go. But most importantly, only 2 races to go tonight and next week for the playoff round, and we'll see who is going to make that championship round at the end of the season at Auto Club. Carl Handwerk joined in the booth by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, the season is getting down to the end. 2 playoff races down, 2 more to go.
Yeah, and each driver needs to, obviously think of the end goal, what they want to be their end result for the season. Obviously, everybody wants to win. Not only one person can win, but there is going to be 3 or at least 3 different series champions. You got the platinum, the gold, the silver, and the bronze. So to make that 4, it'll be 4 actual champions. So they need to make sure that they're paying attention who they need to be racing and where they need to be in order to make that cut line to make it to the final race.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the standings as we come into tonight, and we have 2 drivers locked in since they are here in the field here tonight, and that is drivers in the Platinum, Clayton Montgomery and James Scioly. They are officially locked into the championship round with their previous wins in the last 2 races. Alan Elwood in pretty good shape above the cut line there in the Platinum, 21 ahead of Shayne Therrien, 24 ahead of Niiko Garcia, who I don't believe is here tonight, so this would certainly be his drop race. As again, these drivers are only taking 3 races out of 4. So, just because you see maybe your favorite driver below the cut line doesn't mean they're necessarily out, even if it's a big amount down there, because, again, only 3 races count in the playoff round. But certainly, you got a few that are looking pretty good. As we mentioned, Alan Elwood, AJ Roderick looking pretty good there in the gold division, 20 points above the cut line. Foster and Skoczen above there with him. Then in the silver, you got Van Westen, Jon Nobinger, Tyler Bramble. And then in the bronze is Joey Cruz, Jon Crain, and Joe Thomas above the respective cut lines. But, I mean, anything can happen. A win will get you in as long as you run at least 3 races in the playoff round. Most of these drivers have already run the first 2, and if they win here tonight, that could jump them, even if you're down there, if you're a Blake Erickson, Justin Muncill, Jeremy Gainey, any of those drivers, if they happen to win a race, it catapults them right up and maybe locks them in. We'll see how it's going to play out. So we are done with qualifying. Jimmy, why don't you give us that 30-car rundown here for tonight?
30-car rundown here for tonight. So tonight, starting on the front row, is going to be Tommy Ryan and J.P. Phillips. Then you're going to have Clayton Montgomery with Kelly Pointer, Alan Elwood, and Tyler Scoczen make up row number 3. Row number 4, Shayne Therrien and Bronson Stafford. Row number 5, Robert Gainey and Jon Nobinger. Jeff Ryan and Josh Van Westen make up row number 6. Row 7 is filled by Tyler Bramble and Justin Muncill. Row number 8, Dan Phelps and Jon Crain. Row number 9, Jack Stoneman and Joey Cruz. Row number 10, AJ Roderick and Jesse Francisco. Row number 11, Matt Crockett with Kevin Foster. Tater Bowman and Joseph Thomas make up row number 12. James Scioly and Joseph Sullivan make up row number 13. Row number 14, Matthew Rodriguez and Jeremy Gainey. And our last row, our 15th row, 30-car field with the 29th and 30th car of Braden Carlson and Luis Orduna.
Yeah, good size field here, especially this late in the season, and we'll get to see what they do out here in the field. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Core Xfinity series presented by Elwood Designs, as this should be a good one. I mean, it's one of those things where we get to one of these tracks where these drivers, I'm sure, have a ton of laps on. For some, I'm sure it's a favorite track to go back to, whether it's because they run so much time in anything from the rookie street stock class, but all the way up to any of the NASCAR series, even IndyCar, I'm sure goes here from time to time. So I'm sure there's plenty of laps turned here on the oval, let alone you even got the road course that weaves its way in there. You got the rallycross course that's part of this track as well. Charlotte is used so many different ways here, and even you're looking right there at the infield. You got the well, not the infield, but the front stretch there. You got the Legends track on the front stretch there as well. So very multifaceted for sure here at Charlotte. But using the big old 1.5 mile tri-oval here, quad oval here tonight. Tommy Ryan on the front row, and again, it's a situation where we talked about winning you're in, but then you got situations where you see all the drivers with those little red markers for their windshield. Those are the drivers that are not in the playoffs. They're not a part of the playoffs here, didn't make it for whatever reason. And we got 3 of the top 4 right now, and the entire front row covered by Tommy Ryan and JP Phillips, just coming in here looking to play spoiler, looking to get themselves a little W here tonight, and kind of maybe ruin the party of some of these other drivers out here. But Clayton Montgomery, he's got nothing to lose. He's already locked in to the playoffs, so we'll see if there's maybe a little team play to try and get one of his teammates locked in to the final. Either way, lot to play for. 90 laps on tap. Pace car is in. It's in the hands of Barney. We're going to get this thing underway as they head into the start zone. Green flag, and we are racing for playoff race number 3.
Yeah, pretty good start there as drivers go too wide down the turn number 1. Tommy Ryan slightly out front of Clayton Montgomery as they work their way around here.
Out of turn number 2, down the backstretch for the first time. See a couple of stragglers in the back, maybe starting from pit lane, but either way, good start as they head into 3. The big troublesome corner, you got to watch out of turn 4. It's definitely a corner you can slide up and get into the wall. You see the cars tantalizingly close on lap number 1, but everyone will survive, and it feels like it's worth noting. I feel like there's been a couple races now in a row that it's been a little tough to get out there and get that first lap done unless somebody having a little bobble. But on the backstretch for the first time, battle for the lead. Clayton Montgomery trying to jump up there from 3rd position and take the battle to Tommy Ryan, who's hanging in there in the 2nd lane right there. Certainly a track that is multi-lane here, Jimmy. I mean, it's maybe going to be kind of bottom dominant. Most of the cars are going to want to funnel down to that bottom, but certainly that 2nd and even the 3rd line will come into play.
Yeah, and obviously Tommy being a very clean driver, making sure to give room there for Clayton Montgomery, trying to push it a little bit harder here early. And one thing I found out about this track is that obviously in the first few laps, the first lap's kind of a little sketch. Car's not quite warmed up yet, but once you get it warmed up and them tires are nice and sticky, the tires last about 10 to 12 laps, and then they'll start falling off pretty good. So we'll see how hard these drivers push. As you see a little bit of a bobble right there, as you see Tyler Bramble getting speeded back in the middle, 3 wide, right there in front of Kelly Pointer.
Well, those guys, my heart skipped a beat a little bit. They're watching 39 slide back, and certainly Bramble is one that is racing for his playoff life here too. He's kind of in need of a good finish here tonight to try and get himself back up in the discussion for points and maybe even sneak out a win if he can. But we've seen him up in the mix quite a few times now, even in the regular season, but let alone in the playoffs. But just can't seem to get those finishes. It just seems like things don't fall his way. But one that has been falling his way for quite a bit this season, as long as we get yellow flags, especially the 56 here of AJ Roderick, a little bit back further in the field. And I feel like this is it's a good track that you want to kind of stick with the field, but you don't necessarily need to just go out there and run hard constantly. It's one that tire saving really can come into play. You can make a ton of passes late in the run, providing the run does kind of last that entire way and last all the way to green flag pit stops. You can really make some passes late here. So not surprised to see some of the the gold drivers hanging back towards the back here a little bit, not making any kind of crazy moves, as like maybe the 028 there of Joey Cruz scraping the wall a little bit. But either way, good start from the boys here in the Xfinity Series, presented by Elwood Designs. As in the lead, it is Clayton Montgomery, Tommy Ryan, JP Phillips, Alan Elwood, and Tyler Scoczen for your top 5. Then you got Pointer, Therrien, Stafford, Jeff Ryan, and Kenny rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, see, early pitter there. We called it out, Justin Muncill. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Muncill, but where is he at? Unless that was just an earlier thing there, SDK. Or no, that was him on iRacing. So I don't know what he was putting in. Maybe he just does his buttons.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I still see him out there on the track, so if he's making a pit, that is the fastest pit crew I think I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a speeding penalty as well.
But, he's testing his buttons. I was like, pitting in. I'm like, wow, really? Already?
I mean, I heard him off strategy. Off strategy, but certainly off the wall is an 85 there. Then Phelps again. Turn number 4 is definitely a place to kind of keep an eye on. It's really... It can get tight off that corner, and even sometimes get a little bit too loose if you're not taking it the right way and sliding up there as well. And Phelps going to suffer a position loss because of it, but either way, kept that thing for the most part pointed straight, kept it going here. Doesn't look like any damage other than a scraped up right side here, and certainly a better exit off the corner. But you see smoke almost every time coming off the corner from somebody. Looked like maybe Muncill scraping the wall a little bit that time by, but he's still stuck in a bit of a battle here, a bit of a mix. He's kind of looking up at it right now. We'll jump on board with Muncill and show you what exactly he's looking at from the cockpit here. And you see, whew, he's got grease on that front bumper because that happened just right on board with you. Wow. And not sure how it happened because we see the 25 shoot down there and shoot straight across. And now, well, Jimmy, Muncill is pitting in.
Yes, just inadvertent checkup out there early. I think Jack Stoneman heard him come over the radio and say that he was battling there, and unfortunately he's going to put a couple cars in the hurt locker just a little bit, and just a little bit there. Probably just that 121 trying to.
We'll take it back to the start here.
Yeah.
And show you. It looks like either 121 checked up a little bit, or the 25 just getting in there a little hot into his back end. And then, I mean, even if the 121 was hard on the brakes, you're still going to drift back up onto the track. And unfortunately, collects the 25, the 121. Looks like the 11 getting involved there as well. Somehow, the 85, the 56 sneak on by, as does the 731. Not sure if Kevin Foster maybe clipped a little bit there. He got a piece, but you see that Justin Muncill right there, smoking going into the pits. Gonna need a faster pair already here early on, and this is something that he can't afford. Obviously, after missing last week, he needs a good finish in these last two to have a chance points-wise to get himself up there in the mix. But a win maybe kind of really what he's looking towards to advance him. But not gonna help right there with an incident. Really. Nothing he can do. I mean, the 25 shot down across his nose and very close to turning himself across his nose, but made the pass, made the move down there, and then all of a sudden he's seen the 25 again sideways in front of him. So hopefully that's the only issues that Muncill's going to have to deal with here tonight. But it's going to shake up the field here a little bit. The top 5 deciding not to pit. So it's going to be Elwood, Skoczen, Roderick, Francisco, and Scioly now for your top 5. And out of the pits first, Tommy Ryan, Clayton Montgomery, JP Phillips, Kelly Pointer, and Justin Muncill for your top 10. This is, it can get stressful. I mean, Charlotte, again, is a track that a lot of people know, but we've seen that before. We've seen the tracks that people don't know, people don't visit that often, sometimes end up being cleaner because they don't necessarily know all the ins and outs and what you can and can't do here when you get to Charlotte. A lot of people have raced so many races here, you kind of know the lines. You know that you can run 3 different lines and any kind of variation of those as well, but it sometimes gives drivers a bit of a false sense of security, a false sense of, I know what I'm doing out there and I can do a little bit more, and sometimes it drive over their heads and ends up being a little bit rough. But there was a pretty good start. We'll see what this the restart has entail. I don't think anybody really decided to take tires other than back in the field, maybe just some guys going off strategy. But for the most part, just a little stop and go early on. See what this thing has to do with fuel mileage towards the end, but it's going to be Alan Elwood leading it back to the green.
Yeah, Alan taking the opportunity to move the 5 out into the free air, and like you said, I don't know if anybody took tires. I didn't get a chance to see. Looking at like pit lane times are pretty close, all the same. There's a few that maybe were involved were in there just a little bit longer. So yeah, definitely a stressful race for some. Trying to make that cutoff, trying to make sure they're in the right spot. Trying not to get involved in anything that could cause them to have a bad race. And if they were involved, now you're up in the anxiety just a little bit more, because if you had to use that fast repair, you know, it's no longer there. So yeah, no more mulligans, and we still have plenty of racing to go. But the pit car is in, and Alan Elwood getting ready to lead them off as they come down into the restart zone.
Green flag.
Green flag, get back out in the air, and Alan Elwood's going to lead them off down into turn number 1. Want to wish everyone out there a belated happy Memorial Day, and a thank you to all those that have served and lost, and you know, just can't really send a thank you out enough to all those that were again lost, and all the families that had to suffer that loss as well. Certainly a lot more bravery than I'm certainly willing to say that I wouldn't have. Plain and simple. I mean, I think Memorial Day sometimes, unfortunately, gets overlooked, and it's just looked as, you know, okay, great, I get an extra day for the weekend, and you know, parties and picnics and things like that. But it really, the meaning behind Memorial Day, I think, needs to be recognized a little bit more than it does. So definitely want to send a shout out to everyone out there. That is a reason why we have Memorial Day. And do want to give a shout out as well. Didn't get to do it last week, so our apologies. But want to give a shout out to the Bramble family for losing one of their family members last week, and Tyler Bramble out there and trying to get himself in the playoffs, but want to send our condolences from this Therrien family out to the Bramble family as well. Out here on the track, it is Alan Elwood leading the way. Tyler Skoczen, James Scioly, AJ Roderick, and Jesse Francisco in the top 5. And then the driver that did come into the pits, Tommy Ryan, now trying to make his way around Francisco. Francisco just running a one-off race here tonight, seeing what he can do out here, mixing up with the fellas, and doing a pretty good job right now, hanging on to a top 5. We got Tommy Ryan on the outside as like Kelly Pointer getting up into the wall. And I'm wondering if maybe the Pointer Motorsports team, I'm not sure if they have a real tight setup there on both the cars, but you've seen both Dan Phelps and Kelly Pointer in that turn 4 wall so far.
Well, I know that Kelly and Dan, they practice a lot, and they help each other out, and I do know that they'll spot for each other even when they're not racing together. So pretty close group of guys there. Good people to talk to, you get a chance to. And Kelly's done a lot for the core, in recent and in the past. With his Amsoil and his Kelly Pointer Motorsports. Just it's good to see them two out there being able to run together here tonight. And Kelly up there trying to get a good showing here, as he hasn't been here the past few races, but out here tonight at Charlotte, running pretty good right now up there at Pinot Rate.
Yeah, former sponsor here of the Xfinity series. So if anyone is in need for any kind of Amsoil product, certainly check out PointerMotorsupplies.com. We're to give them a shout out for everything that Kelly has done and helped us in the past. We got plenty of battling all through the field, and we've seen a good group of battling right here in the back half of the top 10 right now. Pointer leads the way here in 7th. You got JP Phelps right behind him in the 20. On the outside there is Jesse Francisco. Shayne Therrien trying to get up into the mix. It looked like maybe Tommy Ryan scraping the wall here a little bit off of turn number 4. It looks like a lot of these these Sumac market cars. I got some new paint schemes on there. Looks like a new U.S. Navy paint scheme on the wrap there for the 9 cars. That's a good looking car there for Shayne Therrien. Looks like a fresh new paint scheme also for Clayton Montgomery. Looks like maybe a lot of these guys running a little bit of red, white, and blue action for the Memorial Day weekend. And you see AJ Roderick right up there in front of him in the 56, as it looks like. Francisco going through the grass. Green flag is going to stay out. He's going to do a little jump there through the grass, rejoin the field like nothing happened. And looks like for the most part, I think that car stayed together pretty well after he did a little lawn maintenance on the front. Not sure that's the way he wanted to kind of be welcomed into the series with a little bit of extracurricular, but either way, he kept that thing pointing straight, saved it pretty good. Out front, Tyler Scoczen keeping an eye on Alan Elwood, not letting him get away right now. And remember, Scoczen earlier in the season had his best chance at a win at Texas before he had some computer issues that took him out of the running. So, you know, he's probably looking forward to tonight as a race to maybe get himself a win on the column here and lock himself into the championship round as well. So he is keeping Alan Elwood close, but right behind him, last week's winner James Scioly is certainly not one to be trifled with. Obviously, not qualifying here tonight again. It's just what he likes to do. He likes to torture himself. We see it in some series. You see it here with James Scioly. We see it on Thursday nights with Michael Pratt. I mean, I don't know. Some guys just like to torture themselves. I don't know. It just is what it is. But either way, Scioly already up there in the top 3.
I've chosen to start out of the pits like on an endurance event just because I know how crazy it can be, especially
more than knuckleheads. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get out there and you're running practice laps and you get coffee. You just kind of let a little bit of time pass and you see the qualifying times and you're like, yep, I'll get out there and qualify, see where I land, and if more than half the field in front of me, I might as well just start in the back because there's a lot of chaos that happens, in endurance events, and it's so long, and just to ruin something that you could be at doing for the next 24 hours with a team of people to ruin it by just kind of rushing turn 1 situation or first lap, so a lot of times it's just safer, just to kind of be, your end results can end up being a lot better, and it's sometimes thrilling. You come from the back, you see how many places you can come through and just test your luck, I guess, it kind of reminds me of that no whammy situation back in the 80s, that TV show, but you get back there, you hope for the no whammy, and you press on, and maybe that's what the Scioly likes, just to get that little bit of thrill, and he's fast. He runs up there, he usually comes from the back and up to the front, but right now tonight he's still sitting in P number 3, so obviously teammates with a few of the SWM guys, and maybe up there to maybe try to help a little bit. So we'll see how that all plays out. But everybody seems, even though they're on teams, we haven't seen anybody like do team blocking or anything like that. They just race their race and try to do the best they can.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing I do commend all the drivers out here. I know there's quite a few that are on different teams. Obviously, we see the SWM team quite a bit because most of them are in the Platinum Division, so a lot of them are up front drivers. But I mean, there are plenty others. I mean, you mentioned Kelly Pointer and Dan Phelps kind of working together. There's a lot of kind of not older drivers necessarily in real life, but older drivers when it comes to core. They've been around core for quite some time. Obviously, you look at guys like Kevin Foster, been around here for quite some time, and guys like Jim Sullivan. There's guys that will work together because they've kind of been around each other for quite some time. Or even you got your like Jon Nobinger is up there as well as some guys that have been around core for a while. So they've driven around each other so much that they'll work together kind of as a full team. But rarely do we ever see the quote-unquote team games being played. A lot of times it's just kind of discussing strategies amongst each other. When's the best time to pit? What do you think the fuel mileage is? What do you think 2 tires is an option? Things like that, as opposed to 2 cars from the team kind of getting up out front and blocking both lanes so somebody else can get the win in the team or something like that. Very seldom see anything like that. So shout out to all the drivers out there and the teams that don't turn this into kind of what Formula One was this past weekend at Monaco, which was just a typical snooze fest at Monaco, but for, I guess, kind of different reasons, with cars literally basically right in the parking lot and not going anywhere. So it was, it's tough, but it is what it is. It's not the case here. There's nobody going slow for any particular reason out here. It is a good fast pace, and looks like we do have our first taker into pit lane. It is going to be Tyler Scoczen coming in from second place. He is going to be our first taker to pit lane here on lap number 32. Remember, we did have 5 drivers that stayed out. One of them here is Alan Elwood, James Scioly, AJ Roderick also stayed out. Jesse Francisco now in the pits as well. He was one of the other 5 that stayed out. So we still got 3 more, and we're making some early pit stops because everybody else came in on lap 10 or 11, and sure enough, here comes your leader, Alan Elwood, hitting those marks, getting down there into pit road. Not terrible entry here, Jimmy. I mean, I think mainly because you got enough time to get down off the apron till you get to those yellow cones. I mean, the pit road kind of starts a little bit early, but you don't have to get it woven down to the yellow cones. So I think you got just a little bit extra time to help you get down in there, but just like anyone, you have to try and maximize as much as possible.
Yeah, it's not too bad, and most drivers are pretty used to Charlotte. Obviously, them drivers that elected to stay out having to come in right now, and the other driver's going to be able to go about 10 to 12 more laps in the car. So you can see that Elwood is a lap down. So maybe not the place anybody behind him wants to be, and it could be hopefully nothing happens. Obviously, Elwood finishing in the back of the pack could be detrimental to his 20-point lead. He definitely doesn't need to be finishing in the back of the pack. Obviously races can be dropped, but with the Indy being Indy, things have happened. So, but Elwood's still in a good spot right now. These drivers that are out here now will need to pit. You probably see the drivers that came in, they might have took the tires, so you're going to see them come in, and obviously they're going to have to pit at least one more time to get the lap 90. So these drivers here just have that extra cushion now, and definitely only have to make one more stop after this one.
Still plenty of racing out here, and this is what drivers that just recently pit, like your Alan Elwood, your James Scioly, AJ Roderick, and the likes, they don't want to see anything get too racy. They don't want to see any kind of a chance at a caution, because now they have pit. They are down one lap, and you got Scoczen and Francisco in the mix there as well. But Alan Elwood and James Scioly maybe throw a caution in the wind here. Elwood going 3 wide through the middle, makes it stick, and you see he's right there with some of the other drivers. He's battling for the lead. He's got Tyler Scoczen right there as well, and he's got James Scioly right there as well, and very close to another incident. The 21 in the wall again. Carlson saving it here on the backstretch. That was very, very close. As you see, these drivers certainly, they got some fresh tires. They're making their way through the field, and again, I mean, this is essentially the battle for the lead. You got Alan Elwood right here, James Scioly Tyler Scoczen right behind him, James Scioly right behind him. The top 3 right here in line, but they're not the top 3 on the track. They're the top 3 1 lap down, because everyone else still needs to come in the pits. So currently, it is Tommy Ryan out there in the lead. Clayton Montgomery, Shayne Therrien, JP Phillips, Kelly Pointer for your top 5. Then you got Stafford, Kenny, Jeff Ryan, Muncill, Rodriguez for your top 10, as the strategies already starting to mix up, already starting to play out here as we're getting to lap number 40, so not even halfway through this thing, and I'm expecting this thing to be at least a 2 pit stop race. And given the fact that our leaders there, when they came in, Alan Elwood and the likes, pitting right around that 3rd mark as they pit on lap 32, lap 33, Scoczen pitting on lap 31. I mean, are they trying to make it, you know, kind of exactly in thirds and maybe only make it a 2 pit stop race? Or, I mean, it's pretty tight, given that we did have a caution in that first little you know, stint. So, I don't know. Can they make it on one more pit stop is the question. I mean, certainly the drivers out there right now that have not pit yet for their, you know, essentially their second pit stop, they're going to have to pit at least 2 more times. This is going to get interesting to see how this thing plays out. And I love when races like this happen and it ends up going green to see which strategies actually play out. But we already got a couple takers from the top 5. Montgomery and Therrien, Stafford, Rodriguez, and Snowman in as well. Looks like Tommy Ryan, JP Phillips going to keep it out there for at least another lap. We thank everyone out there again for tuning in to CRN here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up. Hit that like and subscribe, and get in touch with everything that CRN has to offer, as well as we got plenty of great racing action this season here of the Pro Xfinity Series presented by Elwood Designs. Getting close to the end, but it's really getting to the good parts now, as we have the last 2 playoff races, one here tonight, and then next week it is going to be at Nashville Super Speedway to finish out the playoff round, and then the following week championship round at the beautiful Auto Club Speedway. But we also have, obviously, racing on Wednesday nights. We have the CSRL GT3 Series. Thursday nights we have the Core GT Series, as well as the Ultra Velocity Racing ARCA Series. Plenty of great racing here on CRN, and we do have some others as well that I do forget what Dylan is broadcasting right now. But I mean, hit that subscribe to CRN and find out everything that we have to offer. And you won't have to wonder. You can just sit back and enjoy some virtual racing, and hopefully some commentary that will keep you entertained, or maybe if you just need us to lull you to sleep, we can maybe do that as well.
Sweet muffins.
We see leader Tommy Ryan in the pits, and we're going to look at James Scioly now going to be taking over the lead as he made the pass in Elwood.
And you're going to see how big that, obviously, the new tires are going to be. And they're going to, you know, they were able to get out there. And you've seen Scioly and Elwood and even Skoczen coming up through the field and probably pushing some moves that looked a little sketchy, but obviously, you know, having full control of the car. The only one that was a little uneasy was the 21 there of Carlson, but they was able to hold on to it. So, but they wanted to get through that field in order to take advantage of those new tires. If you don't take advantage of the new tires and got held up on all that traffic, they want to find themselves in the situation they're at right now. So, but right now you see looks like JP Phillips and the rest of them guys. They're obviously at like 8 seconds, looking like one of the drivers getting flagged for unsafe entry. Joey Cruz, so we'll probably see that car come back down in to serve that penalty. So, you know, obviously, people trying to, you know, push the limits here tonight, and doing a great job so far as we hit that 45 lap mark, the halfway, as we have 90 laps here at Charlotte, and right now your leader is James Scioly, Alan Elwood, Tyler Scoczen, Clayton Montgomery, and Shayne Therrien for your top 5.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Jimmy, they wanted to use those tires up, and what it did was it got them a 7-second lead, basically almost a second per lap compared to when they pit and when the leaders pit, as they had about 7, 8 lap newer tires than everyone else. So it got them a 7-second lead. That lead is already gone right now. Tyler Scoczen is only about 4.5 seconds ahead of Clayton Montgomery. So those newer tires from the leaders that just pit are certainly working out in their favor. Fastest lap of the race was just recently run already by our lone Canadian in the field, Bronson Stafford, putting in a 30.18, and that is good enough for the fastest lap of the race up to this point. But battles all throughout the field. You see Tommy Ryan trying to work his way back up through the field here. He's got Kelly Pointer following him underneath AJ Roderick to break their way up through the field. Roderick was one of those drivers that's kind of on that off strategy, one of those 5 cars that is on that differing strategy here tonight. We'll see how it plays out, but as it stands, it is Scioly out front, your winner last week up in New England at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and it was a big win for him. He had to work and get around his teammate very, very late in race. I mean, it looked like Elwood was shaping up to finally grab another victory and lock himself into the playoff or into the championship round. And it seems like it's been forever since we've seen that 5 in victory lane. I mean, we talked to him plenty in the top 3, but again had to settle for a 2nd place as Scioly went on to take the win. And now we'll see if it's a little role reversal here tonight, as Scioly is the one that's leading Elwood in 2nd. See if there's any team games in that aspect, as if maybe Scioly decides to pull over to let Elwood by and get the win and lock himself in. But I don't know if we'll see anything crazy like that. It would give us that situation and that chance that potentially could have 4 drivers in one division make it to the championship round if there's 4 different winners within the same division. But as it stands right now, I think Scioly's just content clicking away these laps, and we'll see if he has a true pace at some point here tonight and really walks away from this field. Currently leading by a half a second, and as Jimmy mentioned, we were past the halfway point. We're on a nice little green flag run here, so I think it's time we crank these boys up here and give everyone in Sierra Nation would love to hear it.
We'll hear it.
green flag action there and the sights and sounds here of the Core Xfinity Series presented by Elwood Designs here under the lights at Charlotte Motor Speedway. These cars are nice and glistening right now. These paint schemes looking absolutely awesome. And thank everyone out there, not just our sponsor Elwood Designs with a lot of their the SimWrap market paints on the cars here, obviously looking great, but everyone out there for all the work and time that they put in to put these paint schemes over the car and make it look great in the daytime, but even more especially here at night once the lights kind of really shine. You see them going on the different lights and how the lighting model here for iRacing works. It's awesome. It's everything that we want here from the booth side of it. If only we can keep the cars this clean, Jimmy. I mean, it'd be so much better. But either way, it is Clayton Montgomery, your new leader out front right now. Shayne Therrien, JP Phelps, Scioly, and Bronson Stafford for the top 5. We did already have our first taker back to pit lane, and that was Skoczen coming in. And Jimmy, it was on lap 61. I mean, if you're going to try and make this thing on 3 pit stops, my math is saying 66. I mean, I may not have been the best at math, but I'm good enough to understand what you're going to need to do for how they've gone in that first one. I mean, it's got to be close. I mean, they made it 33 laps on that first run, but now all of a sudden it's only 29 on this second run. It's going to be close. I figured if they can make it to 66, they can make it basically the same distance that they did on that first one, or at least close to it, you may have a chance. But now, only 29-lap run here, and now you see Alan Elwood, AJ Roderick, James Scioly coming in. I mean, you're past the 2/3 mark at lap 64 here, maybe. I mean, it should be good. It should be good, but again, I mean, were they saving it all? I mean, they had to do a lot of maneuvering to get through the field, which you're going to have to do again here. Maybe that math is mathing, so we'll see how it plays out, but certainly everyone else in the field will stop to make their final pit stop as well. And the question is, how far you let these guys go? Because last time they made their way through the field as Alan Elwood, you see him come back on the track there wobbly. When he gets back on the track, hopefully no penalties for him as he makes it back on there, but Skoczen did make the pass. James Scioly already setting sail out front of this group that already made their final pit stops, or what should be their final pit stops. But you already see some of the other guys now, Robert Kenny, Jeff Ryan coming into the pits, because again, those cars, you have 5 kind of on a differing strategy right now. And when they got back out there, they worked their way out to a 7-second lead over everyone else. So that is a big difference. And yeah, I mean, they're going to have a big advantage again. They have some fresh tires out there. They have about 20 lap newer tires right now. So how long do the cars out there right now stay out? Because you got to have enough time to run them right back down. I mean, they did the first stint right there, second stint, whatever you want to call it. They ran it back down and made the passes, but you got to give yourself enough time to do so. And right now, we're getting closer to the end here. We're getting close to last 20. Here comes Clayton Montgomery down into pit lane as...
Interesting here is this Montgomery comes on down into the pits here, and yeah, we talked a little bit offline when everybody was doing the sights and sounds there of here at Charlotte, but with that such a big undercut gap, if I was one of those drivers that passed those drivers, I would probably have come in already. Like, I would have been like, as long as my needle said yes, then I was coming in. But you see a couple more coming in, the 9, Therrien, and a few others coming in, and Stafford coming in.
JP Phelps, Tommy Ryan staying out there and having a little bit of a battle on the track. Ryan to the inside, JP Phelps to the outside. And we'll see how far these guys decide to stay out there. Right now, they are shown as leaders. Kelly Pointer not too far behind them in 3rd place. Jon Nobinger wouldn't mind a caution here as well to help him out with the point standings, as he is up there in 4th place. Matt Crockett up in 6th, doing a good job. Joe Thomas, another one, bronze driver right now, currently in 7th, but you're going to see they're all going to have to commit into the pits. Ryan, Phillips, and Pointer now in the pits this time by. See if Nobinger decides to stay out and getting himself a bonus point. Get the lead. Not sure if he was credited with the lead. It was close by the line there if he got past Tommy Ryan, who was in pit lane. But if so, Jon Nobinger going to pick up a valuable point for leading a lap here, and every single point is going to matter when it comes down to the end. We can see how close the points were at the bubble. Well, right now, Nobinger in the lead. We'll see if he stays out for another lap. Now he's going to bring that 44 down into pit lane. Sees some smoke there. Maybe another car into the wall, but it's going to give Joe Sullivan now the lead, at least briefly, as Nobinger, Crockett, Thomas all into the pits. Tyler Bramble is sticking it out there a little bit longer. See if the 39 can get a lap led if Joe Sullivan goes in and Bramble stays out for an extra lap. But all these extra laps are going to hurt. Right now, they are extremely slower than everyone else. I mean, right now, Sullivan and Bramble running in the 32s when Scioly is running in the low to mid 30s. So, I mean, you're looking at losing a second and a half a lap. And yeah, here comes Bramble into the pits. Sullivan's going to stay out. Maybe hope for a caution here. Get himself back going up there. But the way it's going to cycle out, it looks like James Scioly could have a sizable lead. 3.3 seconds right now over Alan Elwood. First one that pit late, or at least kind of in the midst of that pit cycle, Clayton Montgomery is a good 4.7 seconds behind. Both these drivers, Scioly and Montgomery, locked in to the championship round. They got nothing to lose out here. The only thing they can do really is help their teammates or register themselves another win. And I mean, Jimmy Heroes like another win.
I mean, I like wins. They're few and far between, Carl, but I get some wins here and there. You know, it's up to sunshine and some of my dogs are in there now. So, you know, I get lucky. So, you know, sometimes you got to be good, sometimes you got to be lucky, and sometimes you just got to need a little bit of both. So, but yeah, the wins are tough. I mean, the competition's high here with the Core Xfinity Series, and you know, and that's one of the main reasons why we, you know, kind of broken everybody down in kind of like their own little mini series. Oh no! JP Phelps tags the wall.
That almost took out the 39 there. Tyler Bramble as well, just coming out of the pits, coming up there hot and heavy on the 22, and that could have ended his night. It's been another tough run for the 39, but gets him wound up and lets JP Phillips collect it up there. As yeah, both look like Stafford and JP Phillips up into the wall. Joe Sullivan off the track as well. Let's see exactly what happened here to Sullivan as, big old slide. It looks like it might have gotten the wall as well. Some major damage on the right-hand side of the 76. Keeps it out of the pits. And just a little bit of a mini-mo right there on the front. Well, as it stands, it is 2.7 second lead now for Scioly as Elwood trying to run him down, but you see a pretty big, sizable gap right there in between. But the gap from Scioly to Montgomery is down to 3 seconds. So the 7 is on it. Sullivan in the wall again. You see the 7 right behind the 5 now off the corner. Montgomery looks to the inside. This is the battle for second place here on the track. Montgomery wants to get this done as quick as possible. If he can run down James Scioly, he will make the pass for second. And Elwood could be looking up here once again, watching his teammates go on and battle for the win. And we need another good points finish to get himself in there, as it's going to be another good finish. I mean, points-wise, he may be able to get in there, but you never know what happens in the last race to get the top 3 races of your 4 count. If there's 3 different winners in the Platinum Division, and Elwood isn't one of them, he could be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it could be that way as a Shayne Therrien coming, as he's made his way past Alan Elwood, another one of those drivers. He is just, you know, he's below that cut line right now, so he needs a win. So Therrien needs to get a win and in. He's not even points eligible right now to be that. So if Therrien can catch and get around Montgomery and Scioly, you know, 2.5 seconds here in the next 22 laps. I mean, 12 laps, very well possible. So we'll see how things play out here as you know, Therrien trying to do everything he can to keep his hopes alive, and obviously it'll come down to if he can't win here, a win next week. So definitely be looking forward to see if Shayne can get in there. Shayne's one of those consistent drivers, obviously, very fast, runs well up front, and just hasn't had quite the opportunities to, bring home those wins this season. So, but we love to see the 09 to make their way to the front here. As it looks like he has a chance, but Scioly obviously on fire here tonight. So he's definitely out there by 2 seconds, and tall order here. So need at least like 0.2 seconds a lap. So we'll see how it goes here for Shayne.
Oh boy, what a story would that be? I mean, Therrien's got the freshest tires out of anyone in the top 4 right now. Tommy Ryan there in 5th place has got 1 lap more tires than he does, but he's back a little bit. He's back about 1.7 seconds behind Therrien. So Therrien doing everything he can to catch up to Montgomery, maybe get a little tow as they both are catching the 70 of James Scioly. I mean, we got 10 laps to go as it stands right now. You see the top 3 not separated by much. All 3 right there on your screen. 1.7 seconds separates the top 3 right now. Scioly, he's got to win. Clayton Montgomery, he's got to win. Therrien, if he can get a win here tonight, that would all but lock him into the championship. I'm pretty sure he's got his 3 races run as of tonight. Yes, he does. This is his 3rd start, so a win here tonight would lock Therrien in, and that would put Alan Elwood and Niiko Garcia on the outside looking in, but that's not enough drama. We need a little bit more. We got a caution here late. This is going to shake things up. All those fresh tires are going to be joined right back up to the front. Unfortunately, it comes at the expense of Bronson Stafford here. We'll take a look at the incident. Heading down to turn number 1. Looks like the 75 drifts up a little bit into the side of Stafford, and around he goes. Looks like luckily for him, nobody else gets involved. He gets down off the track. Doesn't look like too much damage to the 61, other than just put it back a little bit in the field. Maybe dirty those tires, but man, how about some playoff drama here? And this is going to get very interesting. I mean, Scioly has been absolutely fast. He's fast no matter where he is, but he's not exactly on the best tire strategy right now. He's got 4 lap older tires than Montgomery, 5 lap older tires than Therrien, 6 lap older tires than Tommy Ryan. So Ryan right now is kind of in the best situation. He's got the freshest tires out of the top 4, and a win from him means nothing. All it does is keep all these other drivers from locking themselves in, like your Shayne Therrien's or your Alan Elwood. Really, I mean, like Scioly could be a sitting duck. Alan Elwood, I don't think he really has any fight left in him. He's got some of the older tires at the front, pitting on lap 63. We'll bring up the pit laps here and show everyone out there when they last pit, and you see Scioly and Elwood pitting on 63. Even Tyler Skoczen up there running a good race. He's got a good 7th place finish, highest running gold driver right now. But he's got some older tires out there in the field. Does anybody have a fresh set that they can go in and grab for this last little run? It would certainly be huge right now. I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure they used up their 2 sets in the pits, as we've seen Tyler Bramble get his wave around to rejoin the field here and gets himself back up there on the lead lap. So we'll have 19 cars on the lead lap here. Man, this is going to get very interesting. We'll see. I think it will be 1 to go this time by, so that means we're going to have a 5-lap shootout to determine tonight's winner.
Yeah, so looking back at the silver drivers, and they're stacked 14th to 16th, and they need every single point they could get, and they're definitely with each other. They're all battling each other. I mean, the points are, I think, the closest in the silver, and it's definitely, it could be anybody's race. So those 3 drivers sitting right there, Nobinger, Westen, and Crockett, obviously you can't count out Tyler and Bramble, so.
All right, so CR Nation, who do you got? We're going to have 5 laps remaining, maybe more if we end up going into overtime. And if we go into overtime, Jimmy, who's got the fuel to make it to the end? I mean, this could get absolutely wild by the time this is over. But who you got out there? Who you think's going to get this thing done? Do you think Scioly can somehow have enough tire in him to hold off the charge of his teammates and some of the outsiders here to get the win here tonight? Does Montgomery have enough tire to get in front of Scioly and hold off the likes of Therrien and Ryan at the front? Does JP Phillips maybe have something to say about this thing before it is over? This is going to get good. It is Montgomery, Scioly, Therrien, Ryan, and Elwood for your top 5. Then you got Phillips, Pointer, Skoczen, Stoneman, and Gainey for your top 10. This thing is, I think, going to shake up about 6 more ways before this thing is over, but I'm interested to see who's going to get this win here tonight. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. They're coming out of turn number 4. Scioly's going to be able to control this thing at the restart here. But how long can he control the lead? Pace car lights are out. Going to be pulling in this time by. It's going to be 5 laps to go at the line. This is absolutely the best of what you want to see here at the Xfinity Series presented by Elwood Designs. Scioly back on the loud pedal, and we are racing. 5 to go.
Yeah, Scioly obviously with that initial start able to get wide clear Montgomery and move himself into first there, but obviously Tommy Ryan and Shayne Therrien out with the freshest tires, a little bit of a little boxed in there for Tommy as he's trying to get behind the 7 of Clayton Montgomery and maybe push him. So trying to get things to work here, but Shayne Therrien trying to get down the inside to make the pass, and it's only a matter of time to make it work here. Don't have many laps remaining. Therrien touches Montgomery.
Contact there, and you wonder if there's any talk again here, if there's any kind of team play to get Therrien up there and get him the win. He is the one on the team that still needs a win. Obviously, as we said, Scioly, Montgomery in already with their win. So they could try and help the 9 here, but the 66 of Ryan has other things in mind. He makes it past Therrien now. Now he's got his sights set on the back of the 7, maybe looking to the outside here, heading into turn number 1. The top 5, throw a blanket over him. As we head into turn number 1, Ryan to the outside of Montgomery. He's going to get it done. He's got 1 more car to pass. Scioly right ahead of him. He is closing and closing fast as we've got about 3 miles left in this thing. Actually, a bit more than that, because we got 2 laps to go here at the line, so about 6 more miles to go. Either way, Scioly leads, but Ryan is getting up there and getting up there very fast. Not too much movement there from Phillips. Back in 5th is just trying to get his way up there. Shayne Therrien looked like he blinked out there for me for a second, but he is still up there in 4th place, and if anything happens with the top 3, he's still got a good chance at this, but we got a battle for the lead out of turn number 4. Are we going to see a last lap pass back-to-back weeks to the line? It is Scioly by a couple hundredths of a second. White flag is in the air. 1 more to go. Can Scioly hold it from the outside? No. Ryan makes the pass on the inside. Is there anything that Scioly can do on the backstretch to reel him in? Maybe get to the back. Maybe get a little chrome bumper out there. Not going to get close enough. Ryan is going to have the right tires at the right time, as he is your upset winner here tonight at Charlotte. The 66 in victory lane, claiming the win here tonight. James Scioly, Clayton Montgomery, Shayne Therrien, and JP Phillips for your top 5. Stoneman with a good run there at the end on some of those newer tires, gets himself up to 6th place. Alan Elwood gonna settle for 7th. You got Pointer, Skoczen, and Bronson Stafford for your top 10, but what a finish, what a win here for the 66. And again, I mean, Tommy is certainly a fast guy. We've talked about him probably as much as we talked about James Scioly, both of them being very, very good at what they do. But sometimes you just need those tires, and man, he had them at the right time tonight.
Yeah, and obviously them waiting a little bit longer, played a bigger factor with the caution. Closing him up. Tommy was coming, but I don't think he would have had the time. The caution definitely threw him for a little bit of loop and put it in the benefit for the drivers that had the tires. But good run there from Tommy Ryan. Obviously, James Scioly showing that he has the speed to be up there. Another top 3 finish here tonight with a win last week in second place tonight. Clayton Montgomery getting another podium finish here tonight as well. So congratulations to those top three. Shayne Therrien just out. JP Phillips with a good showing there in fifth. Then you had some people that maybe you weren't thinking would be up there. Jack Stoneman with a sixth place finish. Alan Elwood's in seventh. Kelly Pointer in eighth. Tyler Scoczen in ninth. Bronson Stafford in 10th. Robert Kenny, AJ Roderick, Matt Crockett for 11th, 12th, and 13th. Fan favorite Kevin Foster back there in P14. John Nobinger is going to finish in 15th. Van Westen's in 16th. Jesse Francisco in 17th. Tyler Bramble, Jeff Ryan, Justin Muncill for your top 20, and then Joey Cruz, Luis Abuna, Matthew Rodriguez, Dan Phelps, Joey Sullivan, Tater Bowman having a couple issues with the wall tonight, but I heard him call it out over the radio, so not the run that he was looking for tonight. Jeremy Gainey, Braden Carlson, Joseph Thomas, and Jon Crain will round out your top 30 or for your 30 car field here tonight. So definitely great run by all the drivers. Only 2 cautions on the night, one early on and one in the later race, definitely bringing down the race to the wire. And you know, I know a lot of drivers, you know, like, oh, if a caution wouldn't have happened. Well, you know, you have to have the endurance and the ability to go the entire time on them tires and to keep control of the car. And, you know, if not, you can make a mistake, find yourself on a wall and cause a caution. And things happen. So, but I think overall, great race, great racing and driving by a lot of drivers, even, you know, with the you know, the green flag pit stops and the drivers coming through the field with the newer tires. You know, everything was obviously, I think, on point here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what you like to see for the second to last race of the playoff season here, and I mean, it was fantastic, and yeah, I mean, the caution giveth and the caution taketh away. I mean, it can happen just as easily the other way around. You could have some guys that absolutely needed a caution and didn't get it. Well, here tonight, the guys that wanted a caution to get themselves a chance at the win, like Tommy Ryan. I mean, if we don't get a caution there, maybe Tommy has the car to be able to run down Scioly, but I don't know. I think it would have been a really tough call, and I think the caution absolutely helped out the 66, get him a chance at the win here tonight. But it was a blast. It was absolutely great to watch, and it's exactly what we wanted to see, as we'll still have one more next week. But in the meantime, I want to give a shout out and a thanks to our sponsor, Elwood Designs. They've been making custom liveries for the iRacing community since 2012, specializing in the NASCAR class of vehicles. They can offer designs on various other options within the service. If you're looking to make your own livery but don't have the time to make your own base designs, you can purchase Elwood Design bases at simratmarket.com. You can also find Elwood Designs online on Facebook or on X. One thing that the win does tonight for Tommy Ryan is it means we've only got 3 max spots for the Platinum Division. So when it comes to the likes of Alan Elwood, Niiko Garcia, Shayne Therrien, one of them, actually, sorry, 2 of them will be on the outside looking in, and only one of them is going to make it on through the next round. So, I mean, a win from somebody. Alan Elwood certainly has been the winningest driver this season with 4 wins, but you need to be in the right spot at the right time, and if for some reason one of his teammates, Garcia or Therrien, gets the win next week, we could have our defending champion not making the championship round, so this could get very, very interesting next week. But let's talk about tonight's race first, and let's bring in our top 3 finishers here tonight. Third place tonight is going to be a winner of the first race of the championship, or the playoff round, and that is the 7 of Clayton Montgomery. Clayton, another great run for you here tonight. It just seems like it's a weekly thing. It's why you've been up there in the points all season. It's why you're already locked into the championship round, so you kind of had nothing to lose out here tonight, and it seemed like you were possibly on the best strategy. Do you think if the caution doesn't come out there, you have a chance to run down James Scioly? Do you think you had a chance to hold off Tommy Ryan and maybe get yourself another win here?
I think I could have caught James. The question would have been, could I have passed him? I don't know. I was burning my tires up pretty good trying to catch him on the last few laps for the caution. I could tell my speed started slowing down. But I don't know. I'll take a third. I ain't gonna complain. Like I said, nothing to lose, so just see what I can do. Try to grab a win.
Well, it was a heck of a race out here tonight, and I mean a good sized field for you guys out there. Only a couple cautions, so it was a little refreshing to see with how Charlotte can be. I mean, it's a track that just about everybody has 100, 200, 1900 laps on, so plenty of people have the confidence, maybe sometimes overconfidence, that ends up being a bit of a wreck fest. But you guys did a heck of a job out here tonight.
Yeah, I honestly kind of feel like turn four is the tougher part of the track, just because it gets a little bit tighter there than compared to 2 and 2, 3, and 4. You have to lift a little bit more and wait just a few extra half second to give it throttle. But yeah, compared to the past few weeks, pretty good racing tonight. A lot less caution.
Yeah, turn 4, you definitely seen at least 1 or 2 cars with smoke coming out the side of it from brushing that wall coming off the corner. But you guys in the 7 team kept it nice and clean. You had a chance at the win here tonight, and just kind of getting a win for fun, since you're already locked into the championship with your run here tonight. So I mean, next week you guys do have Nashville Super Speedway. I'm sure you're going to go out there and try and get a win there as well. But any thoughts on looking ahead to Auto Club and running for this championship against the likes of guys like Scioly and at least maybe one of your other teammates as well?
Beat them, I guess. That's all I got. That's all I can do.
It's that simple. I mean, you just keep it that simple. I like it. I like it. Well, congrats again on another podium finish here tonight. Great run from you and the team. Who do you give a shout out to or thanks to?
Thanks to you guys putting us on every week. Everyone on the team, everyone who sponsored it, Simrap Market, Roderick Racing Development, VRS, everybody that makes it possible.
All right, buddy. Well, once again, congrats on another podium here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate. We'll see you next week at Nashville.
All right. Have a good one.
That is your 3rd place finisher here tonight, the 7 of Clayton Montgomery. 2nd place here tonight, looked like he was going to have a chance at the win until late, is going to be the 70 of James Scioly.
Hey, James, Jimmy, and Carl on the booth. Cappy.
Hey, got you guys.
Hey, one heck of a run there. I get another start from the back and then putting that 70 up front yet again and staying out, obviously. So putting you and a few others are kind of off sequence with the track position, but paid off big there is when you had that first green flag pit stop. You that big, huge undercut. Ended up with like a 8 or 9 second lead over everybody else. So it kind of looked like you were in the running to be, if anything was going to happen, it was going to be very, very late, like last lap type of thing. And obviously with the light caution, and it ended up being a last lap thing again. But great run from the 70 and. Did you just, I already know, but I guess the tires were your limiting factor here tonight of securing this thing this late.
Yeah, just kind of made my bed going for track position there early. Expected a couple more yellows, just didn't get them, and then thought I was in a decent spot. It was going to be tough to hold off Clayton and Shayne there at the end if it stayed green, but once the yellow came out, just unfortunately, just a couple lap tire disadvantage, and the overcut's pretty good in iRacing, especially in the Xfinity car. It's usually works out to where if you stay out a little bit longer, you just get that benefit for the rest of the run, and especially at a track like Charlotte, it pays off big. So, yeah, unfortunate for sure. Just a huge shout out to Tommy. It was a good little battle there. Tried to stick it on the outside, just didn't have enough grip over the bumps, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely another competitor for all you front runners. It's good to see a lot of great drivers come out here and run, and just a clean racing altogether, and no intentional spinning or wrecking, and just the clean passes it's just awesome to see. It's just great show, great product and everything. But it also just shows how humble you guys are, that if it happens, it's gonna happen, and and that's just kind of you just take it with a grain of salt and move on to the next race. But I think you guys had a great race, and from CRN and everybody else out there, I wanted to say congratulations on yet another great finish here late in the season on the 2nd place here. Give you some time for any shouts out number 70.
Yeah, thank you guys. First one, I shout out you guys for broadcasting these and the admin team. We appreciate you guys taking some time and helping us out here. So hats off to you guys. Hats off to everybody for a clean race. Some EDE teammates were up front. So big shout out to Elwood Designs. Thanks to Roderick Racing Development and Simrap Market for being on the car. And hopefully we can go one position better next week in Nashville.
Well, hopefully we'll see you up there at Nashville. And again, congratulations on that second place finish, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thanks, guys.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 70 of James Scioly. Last but not least is going to be your winner here tonight, the 66 of Tommy Ryan. Tommy, you were looking good. You look like you had a pretty good strategy. You had some fresher tires than everyone else, but the laps were clicking away. So obviously, you know, we seen what happened with the caution coming out and gave yourself a chance. But really, when it comes down to it, do you feel like if the caution didn't come out, you would have had any chance to get up there and pass these guys and maybe still have a chance at the win?
I don't think so. I may have got to second, but I don't think I could get to James there. He was too far out there, and there's just not enough time. And me and JP were talking about when we needed to pit so we'd have enough time. We thought 22 laps would probably be just enough, but obviously it wasn't going to be. So yeah, I needed the caution, but it worked out. I mean, like me and him were talking down there, and it just depends on you know, with the limited fuel, it's a gamble when you take tires, when you don't take tires, when you pit. You know, it's a whole new dynamic into strategy and really luck. So tonight it worked out. So good run.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like you may have kind of been behind the eight ball on the restart as well. I mean, you restarted there in fourth place, and I thought, you know, the tires would give you a bit of an advantage to get up there and at least come out of the the first couple corners in third, and maybe only have to pass just one person and then Scioly at the front. But you come out in fourth, and he had to battle a little bit because, you know, Therrien only had 1 lap older tires than you, Montgomery only 2 lap older tires, so it wasn't like they were just going to be, you know, walkovers, and, you know, work your way to get past those two guys before you had a chance to fight Scioly.
Yeah, it's fired off really tight. So I went down in the turn one on the outside, and I was kind of expecting it to be a little tighter, but it was a little bit more than what I expected. So I just powered the thing up out of the corner, and it was sticking, but so it wasn't shoving the nose, so I wasn't just, you know, heading to the wall. And I knew I just had to kind of get them back up the temperature where they would stick a little bit better, and I knew those guys would get tighter as they got hotter. So I just kind of bided my time and just tried to race as clean as I could. So you're right. It didn't happen as quickly as I thought it would. But you know, very respectable racing up front. Nobody dirtied anybody up, and it's very clean. I was pretty happy about that, obviously.
Well, I think you had to send a couple more tips to JP as he restarted back there with you guys, and unfortunately stayed in fifth at the end of it. So he may need to watch us back here a little bit and watch your moves to see what he needs to get done for next time. But you get it done here tonight. A heck of a great win tonight, and obviously we've seen you in victory lane at Charlotte more than once, and obviously the most recent one I could think of is in the CRN 300. A couple seasons ago, but Charlotte has been kind to you for sure, and you get your win here tonight. I mean, you know, at what point did you feel like you had a chance? Obviously, you put this thing on the pole, but you know what kind of talent is here in the Core Xfinity series, so you know it wasn't going to be easy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's very competitive over here. I mean, I don't know, I haven't raced around these guys a whole lot, but it seems like there's at least 6 to 8 guys that could win every week, just depending on how things fall. I mean, there's a lot of speed in here. But you made a comment about JP. He was slightly disadvantaged because there was a lap car that came out of the pit and almost wrecked out of 4 and got him put in the wall. That's why he was not keeping up as much. But yeah, that's his deal.
That's all. I mean, I'm hearing excuses.
No, just trying to clear his name is all.
That's a good teammate would do. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. It's again, it's just really competitive here, and you know, it's been adventurous at times, but you know, tonight was really clean, as hard as you could drive the car in. You know, I mean, there was some incidents with other drivers and whatever, but I had a blast. I can't say any more other than that.
So you guys head to a track that couldn't be too much more different than tonight, and that's the Nashville Super Speedway next week. Tri-oval, a little bit shorter of a track, and concrete. I mean, what are your thoughts about Nashville Super Speedway? Do you feel like that 66 can perform again?
Oh yeah, it'll be fine. I've not raced there too long ago. I kind of understand where you got to put the car and all that stuff. So the fuel mileage and all that stuff's going to obviously throw a wrench in everything, and it'll be fun just trying to tackle that and see if we can do all this, do this all over again. So, yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, take some time in the meantime, celebrate this win, and get yourself ready for Nashville in the end of this season. But either way, congrats on tonight's win. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, thanks for Carl, man. This is a great series. Enjoy the broadcast with you guys. Northern Tool and Equipment, Jameson Custom Corvette in North Charleston, and M&P Firearms. So appreciate it, guys.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate. We'll see you next week in Nashville. Maybe we'll talk to you again.
10-4. Appreciate it.
Winner here tonight in the 66 is going to be Tommy Ryan getting it done here and maybe playing a little spoiler to some of the playoff drivers looking to get a win and lock themselves in. It's going to be a tight battle, and we'll have plenty to talk about for sure before the race next week at Nashville Super Speedway. We'll let you know who's got a legitimate shot, who absolutely needs to win to get themselves in, all the fun stuff in between as well. I want to thank everyone for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. It gets you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But for myself and Jimmy from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, we'll see you at the track.
Like. Peace out.